scientists. Those are family members of existing American citizens. There's an entire body of people that I think we have to recognize that have been waiting in line, and their first act in America was a legal action to come in and contribute. And every time we start this conversation, we go to the plight of people whose fundamental first action was an illegal action without understanding that there has to be actually a more balanced approach. So yes, I think the president is right. Common sense for the folks that have now been here for a very long time, but we have to prioritize the people that started by saying, we're going to wait in line properly. And then there's people in the middle, but I think that there needs to be a way to give those folks a chance to get their affairs in order, but they should be playing by the rules.
Got it.
And I think it's unfair to reward not playing by the rules.
Okay, so some middle ground between the extreme, all 20 million got to go, and the...
One example that I saw online, Jason, was give folks in like the United States. And my perspective is you have to come and say, well, what is the goal? I think the goal should be to maintain supremacy. The United States is the most vibrant economy in the world. It's the most important military power in the world. It's the most technically advanced entity in the world. If we do not focus on maintaining our supremacy, I don't think any American wants to go through the process of going from first to not first. And if you look back in history at all of the other countries that have had to go through that transition, that is where revolutions and chaos happen. So we should avoid that. So where does immigration play a role? It needs to play a role first and foremost in technical, military, and economic supremacy. The problem, as Tucker says, is when you have 5 or 6 times the number of illegal immigrants as legal immigrants, all of a sudden the idea of using immigration as a cream skimming technique, you do that before or after the people that have been waiting in line get a fair shake?
I think I would start...
Before or after?
I think you have to do it before, because we created this. And I know that that's not something that people want to take ownership of, but America created the situation. Bush created it, Reagan created it, Clinton. America, really? Yes, the country that we live in. Our government allowed millions of people here, and the Republicans did this specifically in order to get cheap labor.
Okay, let me ask you.
We are
let me be very
responsible
specific
for what we did with these people.
Let's just say that you're an international. Let's just say you're an international mathematics Olympiad winner. Mm-hmm. You get recruited to come to the United States on a student visa. You crush it. Let's say you go to MIT, and then you go and do a PhD at Caltech, and then you get recruited on an OPT visa by Google, and you're just crushing.
Awesome.
And that worldview won. But it was the wrong worldview. And it didn't acknowledge that we have competing philosophies, competing priorities, competing ideals of what the future looks like. And I think that we need to go back and reset all of those things. If you just take where we are, if you can just put the Sankey diagram back up, there's a couple things that are really worth noting that people need to fundamentally understand. I said a couple of weeks ago that I thought the GDP print was going to come in hot. I think everybody now is sort of where I am. So let me give you the next thing.
Can I just ask you though, why is it hot? Do you have a thesis on why GDP spiked so much? Or potentially did? That's obviously a forecast.
I don't know this nonsense, right? And if you think about a country that's developing, what is the single biggest input to that country? Energy. And you think for the last 40 years of multi-trillion-dollar bailouts, we never demanded abundant clean energy in the developing world? Of course not, because it was a political decision.
Okay, Tucker, do you believe the Fed is playing politics here? It's kind of hard to believe if Powell was placed by Trump and Biden, there was consensus there, and his mandate is to get to 2.0 and full employment. He's kind of trending towards that. He's made a couple of cuts. The markets predict he is going to make a cut. Here's Polymarket for September showing 80% chance of a cut. Let's take a look if that's changed since the last time. So in September, no. Okay, well, this has changed. 3, 2. All right, so here's your Polymarket Fed decision in September. No change, 53%, 25.
I think these guys move the dot plots, and you can see it in the movement, okay? They're going away from reading the actual data and moving in concert with the data to giving themselves a window to let the data play itself out beyond a reasonable point. And my point is, The beyond the reasonable point is the key part, because when you talk to the large, sophisticated pools of money, many of them are like, what is going on here?
All right, currently the big, beautiful bill is in the Senate, passed the House by a 1-vote margin. Trump said he wants the Senate to pass the bill by Independence Day, July 4th. Senate math, Republicans have a 53 to 47 majority, as you know. They can afford 3 no's on their side, since Dems are united against the bill. With 50 votes, J.D. Vance can break the tie, obviously. So it's easier if they can get to 51. 7 GOP senators are either...
You subscribe for a year, it's $6.
Yeah, you actually threw in a plug.
I have an issue. I'm throwing a plug in.
That was insane.
I don't care. Listen,
what is it? What
also sign up, join the responsibleparty.com. I'm going to start my own Norquist pledge. But also join Sachs.
It's insane. You're insane.
I'd also like to plug Chamath's Substack. It's $1,000 a year to get his reports. And you can, of course, buy David Sachs' TequilaAllIn.com.
Damage to our allies, to Israel, and to American assets in that area, and also to energy production in countries that we rely on. So I think the downsides are really kind of overwhelming. I think a protracted, meaning anything over a day or two, engagement with Iran would derail the Trump agenda and the presidency, and I think it could really sink this administration. So I pray this doesn't happen. I think, by the way, I think the timetable is distorted. There is absolutely no reason to. The president has said repeatedly, we will do everything we can to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I think it's a completely reasonable goal. Nobody wants that. I certainly don't want that. And the Israelis don't want it, and the Gulf states don't want it. Nobody wants that. But it doesn't mean that it has to happen on Friday, actually. And there are other forces exerting pressure on the administration to get this done quickly.
Participate in, if they do have one imminently, which is a big debate, obviously. Should we be involved in stopping them, or should we be doing negotiations, soft power, etc.?
I think this is where I'm glad that it's President Trump in the seat. I think he's shown a consistent desire to off-ramp all of these conflicts. And if he and Witkoff can hopefully hold the line with Bibi and everybody else, I think we're way, way, way better off. But you see this, like every time we're on the verge of victory, somebody in the military-industrial complex invents some escalation of something so that we can just go to war. It's the answer always seems to be, let's go to war, or let's support a war, or let's enable a war. And the bulwark to that has been the president.
Let's go. I mean, I'm an idiot because I proposed this years ago for $500,000, and you know what the genius of Trump is?
Well, he made it
gold and added a zero.
You have consistently proven to your friends that you mispriced by an order of magnitude,
Absolutely.
typically 2.
Now I add a zero every time. All right, listen, thank you, Tucker, for coming on. What's the website to get our nicotine?
Alps
what? I want the website, alps.com.
Alppouch.com.
All right, Tucker, you got to get us in on this. We need alppouch.com/all-in. We need an all-in branded one, okay? With the flavor of... What's the flavor, Chamath, we should do here? What's the flavor?
Money.
Can we do a burgundy? Money. That's why I'm in. But how do we get promoing this? We need to get in on this.
I would say it should taste like a 2001 Masetto.
Can you do that? Can you get the team on a Masetto flavor for us? It's
I'm going to send Tucker a bottle.
We missed you, Sultan of Science. We'll break your chops, but we wish you were here. David Sachs, the Czar. Miss you, buddy. See you in LA, hopefully, at the All-In Tequila Lunch later this month. Chamath Palihapitiya, great to see you. Good luck with your health. And for my guy, Tucker Carlson, alppouch.com/all-in. Get your promo codes going. This is the #1 podcast in the world after the Tucker Carlson show.
My last shout out, I would like to thank Robinhood for sending me their gold card.
You finally? Yeah, Sachs and I have had it for 100 days.
I shat on American Express because I think they're just trash. And then they reached out to me, and it was so ridiculous.
For the black card?
No, they didn't even offer me the black card. They said, here's a chance for you to apply for the black card. And I was like, this just proves
so
my
insulting.
Point that they have no idea who anybody is.
They're negging you. Literally, this is the #1 podcast in the world.
Bro, I mean,
you're having dinner with the president.
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.